Welcome back to TearRing Saga, where the forecast is rain. I've been waiting to do this for a while, and unfortunately I didn't ensorcel her before I could, do this, so yeah, I probably should have taken care of that earlier. This is probably going to be lamer than I built it up to be, but it's time to make it rain. This can only be used every 5 turns, but if you're a plum, you can do it twice every 5 turns. So, Stephanie gets hit by it, and normally I'd be afraid of that. However, if you remember back to her inventory in the last video, you might notice something. This is something that I discovered by accident in my practice run. I was like, oh crap, it hit Stephanie, and then I was like, you're about to see. So 2 uses of Aura Rain, it's really, you don't need that many uses of it throughout the whole game, so I'm fine with using 2 uses here. She has a Miracle Charm! So yes, I can safely Aura Rain the whole map and not worry about accidentally killing Stephanie. Of course, it's very unlikely to hit Ernst. But it wiped out everything else except the Physic Bishop, and he's not gonna be able to Physic anybody, because the only other person injured is himself. So yeah, the entire map is gone. Let me just quickly check what the, yeah, that dropped pretty sharply. So yep, the entire map is, eliminated, except there are gonna be more ballistas coming out of the castle, which is, a pain. And speaking of a pain, I have to dismount Naren. Just to climb some stairs. And I'm gonna have to dismount Raphael too. Oh, here's the thing though, I'm very tempted to warp Sierra in and take out the Physic Bishop, but at the same time, I think it's better that I just plug this fort for now. Because that's the Brave Crossbow fort, I don't want any more of those coming out. And then, actually, okay, I have an idea. Is anyone, desperately need healing right now? I don't think so. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to stall with Raphael for a little bit, but honestly, he's pretty much fulfilled his main purpose in this chapter right now. Because then Lyria will be able to step on that fort later. Of course, if this thing does refresh, you might have to keep him where he is, because, yeah, he's plugging the fort, but, And it didn't usually see the refresh earlier than the animation finishing. Because, yeah, we're only going to need to deal with, 1 ballistician per turn. In fact, speaking of which, I need to have Mince hightail it to the castle. And finally, Sasha can go ahead and use the Occult Book to get herself more levels. So that lets her cap at 40 without having to use a Wyvern Flute, because, Wyvern Flutes suck. So yeah, basically, you want to get Rudin up there to talk to Stephanie, or again, Estefan, as I like to call her, because it's a funny name. A name that Kaga was very proud of, but I'm still just a little bit unsure of, of why you would call a character that. I mean, it is shortened to Est in universe, I think, so I guess he was trying to find a justification for the name Est in, the Arcanea saga. Oh, you can still heal Stephanie. Forgot about that. No, that's fine, though. I'm okay with Stephanie being healed. Okay, am I in range to talk with Runen right now? I guess we'll see. Yes I am. So don't choose attack, choose talk. And this actually goes in a very interesting direction. On my first playthrough, I was not expecting this to happen. Well, I mean, your nation invaded first. But yes, we are responsible for Barbarossa's death, so that is on us. I mean, technically he killed himself, but he did it when we already defeated him, and he wanted to deny us an asset. This line is actually interesting because it implies that you take prisoners, like, naturally as you're fighting these battles, and maybe the enemies that you defeat aren't all kills. Of course, you know, I'm not going to say that this is like Corrin in Conquest and magically not killing anyone in a war, but maybe some enemies we defeat end up captured. And, yeah, just like, Stephanie. So, this conversation results in us capturing the enemy princess. I mean, honestly, is there really any difference? I mean, in a lot of situations, they're kind of treated the same way. Prisoners of war are often used as bargaining chips for exchanges. Uh-oh, we may have created Dimitri! Whoops! Well, actually, she's probably less like Dimitri and more like someone else in that game, but I shouldn't say who, because that's an Azure Moon spoiler, but yeah, so that conversation was really interesting. Like, we ended up taking her prisoner. But that does get you something later on, so remember that for a bit later on. It's not actually a particularly valuable reward, I just like doing it from a story standpoint. So, now we have Ernst, and here's the thing with Ernst, Sunflame has 3 range, and he shouldn't be able to counter that, so I think I can actually Sunflame him here. My hit rate against him is not good, but, he only has 10 magic defense. Does have 20 attack speed though, so we can't really, although he also has the Ward Blade. Raises res by 7 when held, and that's also res by 7, so it says he has 10 resistance, but I think it's actually higher. So yeah, Sunflame is like sort of cheese. Oh, and animations are force on against bosses. And annoyingly, Ernst doesn't have his own boss theme. I do like how he's thanking us for Pavlov, though. Again, like, the Cannon Empire, there are a lot of people that yeah, they hate it as much as we did. There's a boss, well, there's a song in the soundtrack that is called Hero of Canaan that was probably supposed to be the boss theme for characters like Ernst. But in the final game, the tune was used as Holmes' normal battle theme. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. I do wish this guy got a better boss theme. It's like, it says he has 10 defense, but I feel like it's not going to do that much. Well, I mean, he dodged anyway. Yeah, it's kind of a shame about the flashing lights. It is definitely intense. I can see why it would hurt some people's eyes. Vega can start fighting him... Oh. You know, I almost said start fighting him in earnest, not realizing that that's an accidental pun. Ugh. Anyway, let's take my mind off of puns by maybe getting rid of this bishop? Maybe. I could miss this. Come on, Sierra, don't miss. Because having you around while we're fighting Ernst is going to be a problem. I learned that the hard with Barbarossa, and I'm not going to repeat that mistake. Oh, and with Mug, we get your physics staff too, so... yeah, like... This is the thing about the Mug scroll, like, you would think that the penalty to accuracy and avoid on, like, all nearby allies makes it not worth using, but at the same time, they really didn't balance Mug, with the assumption that you would have it on somebody stronger than Mahen. And on someone stronger than Mahen, Mug is completely ridiculous. Also, again, I'm not worried that Rudin's up there. You'll see why later. Yeah, it's just kind of silly. It's just like, oh, hey, yeah. I can just casually warp around the map and steal people's weapons. Sierra just doesn't even care about the accuracy and avoid penalty to nearby allies because she's never near allies anyway. So, yeah, like, and again, I think Raffin and maybe Sasha are the other good candidates because they fly far away from the rest of the army anyway, so again, like, they're not really too bothered by, the penalties. Now, I don't want to come this far only to get destroyed by Ernst, because he is very dangerous. He has Nihil, Adept, so yeah, Adept plus, like, I mean, most of his weapons don't have a lot of power behind them, at least. But he does have 25 strength. So I'm kind of wondering if I should use, like Likud with you. Yeah, I only have a 55 hit rate, and he has 22 crit as well. Is that like a base, or... He seems to have 17... Oh, yeah, he has 26 crit at base, because it's your raw skill stat, plus other stuff. So honestly, maybe just having Vega rush in is not a good idea. And he has 38 defense as well, thanks to all of his shields. So, like, again, he's pretty tough. In fact, I probably should just go ahead and use the save staff. He will lose a lot of attack speed if I make him equip the javelin, though. Or he could end up using the Levin sword. With, like, a depth. I've got to remember that Levin swords can crit in this game, though. This isn't, yeah, this isn't the GBA games where long-range swords are unable to critical. So yeah, still got to be careful. I prefer to gang up on Mintz with a whole lot of people at once. And honestly, I mean, Meriel one-shots the Mage Knights. I can probably afford to commit Sasha to the fray, although she's probably not going to be doing the best against Ernst. She does at the very least have high luck to avoid maybe getting critical by him. Or I could just, like, try and use Canticle, actually. Though, he does have Nihil, which will get rid of my Vantage, so I won't be able to Vantage combo him. Uh-oh. Well, at least I get to counter and do that. Because, yeah. Oh, thank you for your shields. And yeah, and I get to replenish my shields as well with every one of them that I kill. And bowgun. And there's another one. Okay, so, what do we got? Conditions, turn 7. Yeah, we have to stall this out until turn 10, which is actually just, which can be a pain. Oh yeah, but if I do warp Sierra in, I will suffer the effects of the Mug Zone. So how do you do against Ernst? 72 hit. Not bad. Not bad at all. But I do need to make sure that I get Mintz up here. Yeah, I can afford to stall out this for another turn. I mean, I have to stall this out anyway, because I need to get Mintz up here and get him mounted again. And should it be you or Sierra who... I mean, Sierra can just sit here and probably equip Nosferatu, but use that Spirit Potion for a little bit more magic. Not that she usually needs it, but every bit helps, especially in the next chapter where I'm going to be relying on Sierra quite a bit for something. And let's get rid of this. So, okay, now we're down to the point where, oh, actually, I can just have you plug that. And then, oh, actually, Plum could have plugged that. Oh, well, I'll have Plum plug it next turn. Plum can plug it sounds like a weird plumber business name. I mean, I can get Raphael up into this area too, but he's not going to be great. I mean, he could try and, like, Arbalest Ernst, I guess. I mean, that could help. So while I'm here and I'm waiting for this last spawn to happen, because I'll probably hold off on attacking Ernst until turn 10, because there's a lot of story scenes that happen after you beat him, so I don't want to, like, ruin the mood by having that happen while we're standing here waiting for a certain person to spawn. So while I'm waiting, I can actually talk about something that I wanted to mention. In my first playthrough of this game, which happened, I guess I can test out the Arbalest effectiveness against you. Yeah, that is a bad hit rate. I'm probably not going to be doing much, and I do nothing to you even if I do hit because of your shields. But in my first playthrough of this game, At this point, in the translation, I kind of misinterpreted the current situation regarding Runen and Kanan. So what I thought was going on at this point in the story was that Kanan wanted peace at this point. Senate had led his revolution within the Empire. All of the higher-ups, like Julius and Barker, they all knew that really Carla was responsible for the whole war, and if they could just get rid of their father and her, then they'd be able to reform the country and end the war against Reeve peacefully. And I thought the reason why this battle was happening was that Runen, at this point, thought, no, they don't get that luxury. They invaded my homeland, they caused all this damage, they have to pay for what they did. This war does not stop until we are in their capital. And I thought that was interesting because, it made Runen a lot more of a, well, interesting character than your average, bog-standard Paragon Lord. But then I find out that that was actually just a botched translation, or maybe I was just misinterpreting things. And really, Runen, actually, his personality is just the same as any other Lord, and right now it's really all just happening because, I still think this situation is really interesting. And you might notice that artilleryman has a different color. I guess I'll go back to that tangent later, because I probably have to talk a lot about this guy. Yes, that's the reason why this war is tragic. Oh, and that's all he says. Okay, so this is Hagar. He is an artilleryman who appears on turn 10 of this map. There is absolutely zero indication you can do this, but Mintz can recruit him. I think really the main reason this works is because Mintz was in Ernst's army before, so they probably knew each other from then. But this guy's recruitment method is so obscure, and he shows up so late that he's practically an Easter egg, I feel. And here's the interesting thing, so he is an artilleryman who's basically an Easter egg, with purple hair, and he's a bit of a hopeless womanizer. He fancies himself a Casanova, but he's really, really not. Many fans suspect, and again, there's no proof of this or anything, it's just a theory, that many fans suspect that this guy was supposed to be Jake, back when this was still a Fire Emblem spin-off. Because the secret shop owner is clearly still supposed to be Anna, and yeah, a lot of Fire Emblem fans wonder if maybe Hagar was meant to be Jake. It would certainly make sense. Again, similar look, similar personality, similar class, and his recruitment is practically an Easter egg. I'm sorry, but everyone else in your army is dead right now. Well, dead or captured. That just makes me think of that line from Disney's Hercules. Everyone's been captured. I've been captured! Ah yes, the old, join the army, you'll meet pretty girls, which actually works for the vast majority of Fire Emblem universes, I just realized. Because, yeah, especially in the newer Fire Emblem games, if you join the player's army, the chances of you getting laid are very high. But anyway, this is Hagar. And let's go over his bio, because he's a bit of an amusing unit. Hagar is an artilleryman est. And that's about all you need to know. He's probably meant to be a joke character, and as I've said, more of an Easter egg than anything else. But to his credit, they at least gave him Paragon, and he does have some very good growths. In particular, with his base defense and his defense growth of 40%, he's one of the few characters in the game who can reach 30 defense, for what it's worth. And he does admittedly have higher base stats than Tom to be using ballistas with, so that gives him some utility, I guess, but the combination of a late join time and being in the worst class in the game and forcing you to wait 10 turns in a somewhat troublesome chapter just makes this guy more of a joke than anything. Although, if you do care about this game's multiplayer, he can be very, very fun to show off there. Oh, and there's also a meme that this guy can one-shot kill a certain late-game boss at base, but it does require a crit, so it's not really all that reliable. In fact, speaking of amusing, I want to try something. Can I just... Okay, this is probably not going to do anything of significance, but if I try and stone hoist Ernst... 0 hit rate. I'm going to try it anyway. Just because it's funny. And at least we get to see what he looks like in battle. Now, this does mean that he will never be able to move again for the remainder of the chapter, but I don't really mind. Yay, 10 experience. And I have some more stone hoist to give him too. But anyway, I think now is a good time to use the save staff and get to fighting this guy, because, like, it's not going to be too bad, but if he crits, I could be in trouble. But yeah, this is sort of the main tangent that I wanted to go on here, is just talking about, like, how I feel this whole battle is sort of done, and how I actually feel that this is probably one of the better ways to do a Camus character in a game. Like, this battle is really happening because, like, there are circumstances going on here in this war that you're not aware of. That the Empire is actually being controlled from the inside. You don't know this at all. And that, they're trying to reform themselves from the inside, but you invading would get in the way of that. And again, you don't know this is going on, so you're still invading none the wiser. So this guy is just holding the line and buying time for the people on his side to, like, again, reform their country from the inside. And I just think it's a very interesting way to do, like, a sympathetic antagonist. Because, like, in a way, you kind of are the bad guys in this battle, but at the same time, it really just feels like another battle in a war where there's no real hard feelings, well, apart from Stephanie, on either side. And it's definitely, like, a more, again, like, there's a whole lot of things that I could say here, but I do feel like this is one of the better ways I've seen a sympathetic empire depicted in a video game. Because I just, okay, I promised myself I would. I don't like having to keep being a broken record to bring this up, but I still don't like it when so many works these days try to make things morally grey by going like, oh, well, you know, the countries the Empire is invading, annexing, annihilating the cultures of and replacing with their own are actually bad cultures, so they deserve to be annihilated. Like, just that just sets really bad, implications, but yeah, I kind of prefer it when it's like this, when there's like, there's good and bad people on all sides, and the Empire is actually aware of its own corruption and is trying to clean up its corruption from the inside. Now, the problem with that, though, is, I'll get into this a little bit later, but really, I think you probably know what I'm going to say. The issue is that Senate is really doing all of the work for you. Okay, his shield is down. That makes him a lot easier to deal with. And in fact, one good hit with the Likud should be enough to do it at this point. Or, you know, one solid hit from maybe Silford, but that means that I lower my own attack, my own stats quite a lot. Yeah, Sasha's accuracy is still really bad against this guy. Is it still... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is it... Oh, wait, no, it's yeah. So it's still turn 10, but Aura Rain has, like, no accuracy against this guy. He has 87 Avoid, and Aura Rain's accuracy is... I mean, I only have, like, a 20 hit rate against him, so with Aura Rain, that's probably not worth it. I can try and pile him. I also think, though, another example that I've seen in a video game of a sympathetic empire... Okay, actually, I was going to talk about Moradane, but then I realized that I think another one also is Malkuth in Tales of not Exilia, wow. In Tales of the Abyss. Like, in that one, you've got a kingdom and an empire at war, but, like, neither of them are particularly, like, they're both actually, this is something of a spoiler, but they're actually both incredibly sympathetic, and the only antagonist in the whole situation is the one person who wants to start a war, and they just want to start a war because the prophecy says there should be a war, so they're like, okay, the prophecy says so, there should be a war. And by the end of the game, nobody on any faction likes that guy. So that's also an interesting, but then again, there's Mora Dane as well, but going into the reasons why I find Mora Dane sympathetic would be kind of spoilers for Xenoblade 2, so yeah, I can't really go into that all that much here. How much, hit do I have with Shram? I have 70. With a Brave Sword, I have 60, but I can't activate skills, so I'm banking on criticals there, which probably not the best thing to do, unless you're using this, but at that point, I only have a 55 hit rate. Like, if I do hit, then I probably win, but I would probably rather go for the better hit rate, but I mean, at the same time, if I don't critical with that, I also don't win, so it's like a 25% of 70% chance of winning, or an 85% or 55% chance of winning. So honestly, I think this actually does give me better odds, if only slightly. Of course, I kind of have to beat him this turn, because if I don't, he's going to attack Plum. I mean, it seems very out of character for him to do that, but I feel like that's probably what he will end up doing if I, yeah. Although also, I don't have Shram if I do that. So maybe I actually should use Likud. Ah, it's complicated. Not Likud. Maybe I should actually use Shram. Yeah, I had this big tangent prepared about my thoughts on every single Camus character in the series, but I'm not even going to be able to give it, I don't think. I don't think I have enough time. Oh, and of course, you just activated Pavis, because of course you did. Now, here's the question. Do I... Again, if I let him move, he's probably going to kill Plum. Yeah, I think her accuracy is... Although, okay, admittedly, I can warp, I can test this, and if I don't like the numbers that I get, I can walk away and not have the mug zone in effect. So if I do this, like, what's my hit rate? It's 41, yeah. I mean, if I do hit, I win. But, I mean, she also probably dies if I don't hit. I mean, I also technically win exactly if I hit with that, too. It's a 1 in 3 chance. I could go for it. Come on, 1 in 3 chance. It's probably a little less than 1 in 3, but because of the table distribution, but anyway. Come on, Snake. You can do it, Snake? Ah, yeah. I had a feeling. He doesn't... Does he one-shot her? I feel like maybe he one-shots her. I mean, he's probably going for Plum anyway, but like with the Javelin, 7, 25... Although she does have an Iron Shield. She has 2 Iron Shields. They don't stack or anything, but they do, you know, make, mean that she has essentially 7 uses of the Iron Shields. Is 1 HP going to make the difference? No, it's not going to make the difference between Plum getting one-shotted and not getting one-shotted. Now, I'm hoping that your AI is as honorable as your personality and doesn't go for Plum, but that's probably not true. Oh yeah, and Vega's in the mug zone. Wow, that's a big heal. Is that like a fourth that heals? He's going, of course, he was going for Plum, and I think he doubles her too. So yeah, I'm gonna have to reset here. Yeah, 98% accuracy. Yep. Okay, this time, I'm going to do things in a different order. I think that I really do have to bank on criticals here. And I probably should be using Likud the entire time. In fact, I could give Likud to Sasha. That might not be a bad thing, because I think she has... Oh, wait, no, Vega's skill's really high. So I feel like his accuracy is probably some of the best that I have here. Although, wait a minute, Yeah, Sasha has charisma, doesn't she? So I could go here. I'm pretty sure we'll be getting the charisma boost. Yeah, within 3 tiles. So it's only +3, but that +3 could make a lot of difference. In fact, it's probably better if I, yeah, if I do this. No, wait. Yeah, if I canter back there, I'll be able to dance for him without getting into range. And Vega can just attack from the side. I'm not sure why I didn't do that from the beginning, but yeah, oh well. Yeah, I kind of need to crit here, unfortunately. Ernst is very tough, but he's not, like, completely unbeatable. And I didn't crit. Okay, so 1 down. So here I have Charisma and Land's Mirror, and here I have... I still have both here. Okay. Yeah, I do kind of need to bank on these 60s hitting, which they probably won't. Okay, that's good. And he got Soul. I don't really think there's many people, like, around here who can, like, who have, much ability to use, Nile in this group. Because, like, the main Nile user was Zeeg, but he's gone now. This could still miss. Yeah, of course. Yeah, this is also another one of those boss fights that is annoyingly luck-based due to the terrain and things like that. I mean, if you let him attack you first, then he won't get the benefits of his terrain, but it's still kind of a pain to fight this guy. The weird thing is, I normally don't have as much trouble with him as I'm having here, so... I can try and get a bit of chip damage, like this. And then... Okay, that was a lot more chip damage than I expected, probably because of the Empower. Okay, so he's down to 25 now. And I'm still really not sure if I want to use Sierra here. Slightly different level on Plum is probably a good sign. Oh, and Ent is already moved, so the only physic that I have is Mel. Which is actually really bad, because I need to heal Vega, but I also probably need to heal... Although, you know, let's be honest, if this guy, like crits and kills Naren here, I reset anyway. How much hit do I have with that? 47. Does that actually finish you? So I have 42 with the killing edge on 18. I do exactly 1 less than finishing you if I hit with that. Whereas with the Silver Sword, it's less accuracy, but I win if I hit. With that, I have to hit and critical. That's probably a less chance than hitting with the Silver Sword. Unless... Does Soul have, like, a higher hit rate? 80 hit. No, it's the same as the Silver Sword. Oh, I was hoping that... I mean, at the very least, Soul will... the healing from Soul was pointless, though, because if I hit him, I win, so I don't actually need the healing. But, I mean, just for, like, bragging points, I suppose I could just use it. Just because why not? Yeah, I'll just use that. Come on, Naren. Come on, hit that 67. Come on. There we go, got it. That speech probably would have been amazing voice acted. That's probably not wise, given your stats in this playthrough. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have been so hasty in attacking. So, yeah, they do a bit of a bait and switch there. They make you think you're going to have to fight him twice, but no. But I still think it's a really cool image, the fact that even in death, he still blocks the castle. And that's why I didn't mind Rudin being all the way over there, because after you defeat Ernst, Rudin warps all the way to the gate, and you can just go ahead and seize and end the map. And that's also why having to wait 10 turns for Mint is even more counterintuitive, because despite being a seize map, this is one that can be won quite quickly if you really focus on speed. So, yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. But anyway, like, Ernst I have mixed feelings on him as a boss, but he's definitely formidable. And taking him down does feel like a big accomplishment. So, one thing that I was thinking when I was playing this in the new fan translation, I was just thinking, oh, couldn't Kanan have got a messenger to us and just told us, hey, don't fight us! We're trying to kick out our evil emperor and save our country ourselves. Please don't, stop fighting us because we're gonna actually sue for peace soon. And it turns out that they actually did think about that. Yeah, I think the dialogue here does change maybe if they're in your army. I think they might appear and address her, I'm not sure. Yeah, because we actually didn't even know about the Free Kanan movement at all until now. It's actually kind of funny how similar this situation is to Conrad and Celica from Echoes, but the Conrad plot point didn't exist in Gaiden, so Kaka couldn't have ripped that off because it didn't exist. Yeah, it definitely feels like Senate was supposed to be the star of his own game. That there was supposed to be a second game that would tell the story of Senate and Tear. And you'd have, like, Senate and Tear routes, rather than Rudin and Holmes routes. Either that, or again, this game was planned to have 4 routes at one point. But that would have made it, like, probably unrealistically a big endeavor to complete, so... In a way, I'm kind of glad they didn't do that, but at the same time, I do wish we got to see more of Senate and Tia's stories. But I also don't think, like, it completely, I'll talk more about how I feel about TearRing Saga's plot overall, because I actually do think that Rudin and Holmes' stories are actually decent enough as it is. A lot of this background stuff, it doesn't hurt their stories by existing. So yes, this message arrived a little bit too late. We just killed Ernst. We probably wouldn't have needed to if we had waited a little bit longer before attacking and had got this message. So it's like a Romeo and Juliet situation. A lot of things can be avoided if you're not hasty and you wait for letters to arrive before you act. But it is interesting that they at least did acknowledge this. It's like, they did actually attempt to get word to us and tell us, you know, that Kanan wants peace with us. But, yeah, again, it just arrived a little bit late. And so, we're going to be holding a peace conference at Nolzaria, the exact same place that got attacked by Gwen Chaos and had both royals brutally murdered the last time they attempted a peace treaty. So yes, nothing bad is going to happen when we go there at all. Here's the thing though, Rudin also brings up some good points. Here is the slight problem. Both of them have formulated their own plan and haven't told us or Senate's faction. So a whole lot of poor communication on all sides might lead to this war continuing a little bit longer than it really should. Well, Senator's not controlled by the player right now, so it could actually take him a while. Yeah, finally, that thing. Yes, you really should have told that, yeah, I mean, we can't blame them. They got to us as fast as they could. They sent a Pegasus Knight. That's probably the fastest form of messaging in this universe. But this is actually kind of interesting, though. So that misinterpretation that I made about the story when I first played, it is still kind of in play. It's just Eugen, not Rudin, who holds that view. Although, yeah, again, bad communication, because they actually are on Prince Senate's side, they're just exacting their own plan that they haven't told anyone else about. It's an interesting type of story, though, just having, like, all of these counter-plans going on at once. Everyone wants peace, and everyone wants to stop the Empire from, well, being an Empire, but because nobody's communicating their plans to each other, or are communicating their plans too late, it means that, well, Ernst just died, and, Yeah, I mean, I guess some of my interpretation does have merit here, but the one that I made when I played the original fan translation, it's just that the early bad fan translation definitely made Runen come across as a lot more vengeful here. And I actually like that, like, again, because I liked seeing Runen be more flawed than your average lord. So yeah, this happens if you captured Stephanie. And that is that big long chapter over. Next time, we'll be heading for Reeve Palace itself.